All right, let's dive into a really critical moment for a brand new nation. We're going to explore that fascinating, fragile space between getting everything perfectly prepared and the messy, chaotic reality of actually starting the journey. We'll see it all through Numbers, chapters 7 to 12. It's an incredible story of perfect order 1 minute and then sudden rebellion the next. And it really gets to the heart of that timeless struggle between our best intentions and, well, our very human nature. So here's how we're going to track this story. We'll break it down into 6 parts. We start with this stunning display of unity and worship. Then we see the Levites get set apart for their special role. And we learn about God's miraculous guidance system. And then the trumpets sound, the journey begins, and almost immediately it's all undercut by complaints, cravings, and even challenges to leadership itself. So let's just start with this question. Put yourself in this position, right? You've just formed a nation of millions of people, and you're all stuck in the middle of a desert. How on earth do you prepare them for the journey ahead? Well, these first few chapters give us the answer. It's all about establishing divine order, creating a clear system for worship, and having an unmistakable sign of God's guidance. And that preparation? It all kicks off with this incredible act of worship. Chapter 7 goes into detail about the dedication of the new tabernacle altar. And what it shows us is a nation moving in absolute perfect harmony. Now, when you look at this, your first thought might be, wow, that's a lot of repetition. And you'd be right, but that's exactly the point. For 12 days in a row, a leader from each of the 12 tribes comes forward and gives the exact same, really extravagant offering. This isn't just boring record keeping. No way. It's a powerful visual statement that says every single tribe is equal. Every tribe is all in, and this nation is completely united. And we're not talking about small gifts here. The scale of this was just immense. I mean, the silver vessels alone weighed a total of 2,400 shekels. This wasn't some small token. It was an overwhelming, powerful display of generosity and devotion from every part of the new nation, proving they were ready to worship as one. Okay, so you've got this foundation of unity from all the people. Now the focus kind of zooms in. It narrows down to just one tribe, the Levites, who are about to be set apart for a very specific and very sacred job. You know, the process of setting them apart, their consecration, was this deeply symbolic public ritual. First, they're cleansed, which is all about purification. Then you get this amazing moment where the rest of the people lay hands on them. It's like they're literally transferring the responsibility, saying, you guys serve God on behalf of all of us now. After that, they're presented to God, atonement is made, and they're officially ready for their holy duties. So what's the deal with the Levites anyway? Well, they had this totally unique position. See, God had a claim on every firstborn son in Israel. But instead of that, he takes this entire tribe, the Levites, as a substitute. They literally become a living gift, dedicated to serving in the tabernacle and kind of standing in the gap, spiritually protecting the community. It's all part of this theme of divine order. All right, so the people are unified and their ministers are consecrated and ready to serve. But how are millions of people actually going to function while they're on the move? Well, that's the next piece of the puzzle, a system for divine guidance. First up, they bring back the foundational festival of Passover. But check out the detail here. The law is really strict. You have to observe it. But then God builds in this second chance for anyone who is ceremonially unclean or maybe just too far away on a journey. It's this amazing balance of holiness and grace, making sure everyone gets a chance to take part. And then we get to the guidance system itself. And honestly, this is just wild. Imagine this. A giant pillar of cloud hangs over the tabernacle during the day, and at night it turns into a pillar of fire. When it lifts up, they pack their stuff and march. When it settles back down, they may camp. It didn't matter if it was for 2 days, a month, or a whole year. Their entire life was basically run by this giant supernatural GPS, showing them God's presence and commands. So, all the pieces are on the board. The people have been at Mount Sinai for a whole year now, getting the law, building the tabernacle, getting totally organized. Everything is set. And now, finally, the signal is given. It is time to move. To make it all work, a new communication system is rolled out, 2 silver trumpets. Now, these weren't for playing tunes at a festival. Think of them more like a divine command center. Different trumpet blasts meant different things. 1 trumpet, that's for the leaders. 2 trumpets, that's for everybody. A short, sharp alarm, that meant pack up, it's time to march. It was an audible way to bring order to a nation of millions. And then the moment comes. The cloud lifts, the trumpets blast the signal to move out, and the tribes, in their perfect designated formations, begin to march away from Sinai. The Ark of the Covenant, that symbol of God's presence, is leading the way. I mean, this is it. This is the absolute picture-perfect moment of order and obedience. The ideal plan is officially in motion. Yeah, so that perfect ideal, it lasts for all of 3 days. The beautiful, orderly march just smacks right into the wall of reality. The reality of the desert, sure, but mostly the reality of human nature. And that's when the complaining begins. And what they complain about tells you everything you need to know. God is literally providing miracle food for them every single day, and they're sick of it. They start craving meat. And then, and this is just crazy, they start talking about how good they had it back in Egypt, as slaves. They're remembering the fish and the melons, but somehow forgetting the whips and the bondage. It's a complete and total rejection of God's provision. And you can just feel how this constant whining absolutely crushes Moses. His prayer here is just so raw and desperate. He feels the weight of this entire ungrateful nation on his shoulders, and he just breaks. He actually says to God, "Just kill me now. I can't do this anymore." So God's response comes in 2 parts. First, for Moses, he shows compassion. He tells him to appoint 70 elders who will receive some of his spirit and help carry the leadership load. But for the people, their craving is met with a pretty harsh judgment. God sends them quail, tons of it, but it comes with a deadly plague. It's a crucial lesson. God will provide, but an attitude of ungratefulness comes with a very heavy price. The rebellion is about to get a lot more personal now. It's no longer just the people complaining about the food. The challenge to authority now comes from inside Moses' own family, from his brother Aaron and his sister Miriam. They use Moses' marriage to an Ethiopian woman as their excuse, but what they're really doing is launching a direct attack on his unique spiritual authority. You can almost hear the jealousy dripping from their words, can't you? Has the Lord only spoken through Moses? What about us? They're basically saying, hey, we're important leaders too. Why does he get to be so special? And man, God does not let that slide. He steps in immediately and just lays it all out for them. He basically says, look, when I speak to other prophets, it's through visions and dreams and riddles. But with my servant Moses, I speak mouth to mouth, plain and simple. God makes it absolutely clear that his relationship with Moses is unique. And by challenging Moses, they were really challenging God's own chosen order. The consequence is swift, and it is severe. Miriam is struck with leprosy. Now, Moses and Aaron plead for her, and God agrees to heal her, but there's a cost. She has to be put outside the camp for 7 days. And here's the kicker. The entire nation, this massive caravan of millions, has to grind to a halt and wait for her. Her personal sin had a national consequence. And that kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? We've seen this journey start with perfect, harmonious order, and then descend into the messy reality of complaint, jealousy, and rebellion. It leaves you wondering, when our best laid plans inevitably fall apart because of our own flawed nature, what is ultimately strong enough to hold a community, or for that matter, any of us, together?